Hey, what up, fam? It's your boy Kendrick Lamar. Y'all listen to my man Kennedy Leckers on that show, K.P Aftermath. It's the hottest show, and right now, stay tuned.
It's the K.L.P Aftermath.
You're locked into the man. Check this out.
Here we go.
It's time. You're live and in the mix with ATL Zone.
K.L.P, Kennedy Lucas.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Hi, this is Rihanna.
Hey, what's up? This is Ludacris.
What's up, y'all? This is Nicki Minaj.
You're rocking with the best. It's the #1 station blazing the airwaves.
Right here, so keep it locked.
What's up, y'all? This is Beyonce, and you listening to my station.
Powered by the Core 94.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. This is, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the K.L.P Aftermath with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas. We've got Tyrus Lester in the building. Of course, back here on Swanky Studios, one of our recording studios here to bring you guys another exciting podcast. I'm excited because we changed some things up here, guys. Now, you guys know we always changing things up here, T. We working on it. But it's good to be back. And let me tell you, I was rushing to get over here, T, because I knew we had the radio show today. And let me tell you, I just got to accept that traffic is just going to be what it is today. Traffic is going to be one of those things that I just got to get used to it, right? I just got to get used to this traffic, because traffic is one of those things that it just, I don't know. It's just, it seems like it's getting forever, right? It seems like it's doing a whole bunch of, slow driving, a lot of people being careful, right? And it really bothers me a whole lot with this traffic thing. I got to get used to it. I just got to understand that it is what it is. It's just one of those things that, I have to dabble on into it. Because once we leave the office of Emory, it takes a good hour to get to the studio and to get there and to get to what we're going to. But I'm not going to let that just throw me on this podcast, because we got so much we got to talk about here on today's episode. I'm excited, right? Because our kind of shout out, right? A little bit of a shout out, but more of it is a shout out, right? It's more of a shout out than ever. If you guys missed it, the latest video coming from K.L.P Entertainment, Horizon Pictures, and Swanky Studios, of course, a couple days ago, once we launched the app, a streaming network of K.L.P Plus, we uploaded a video. Of course, shout out to the Young Atlanta fashion show that's going to be coming around. Young Atlanta is a organization that they're getting ready to start the fashion show coming very soon. You guys can see the full 4-minute video on my Instagram, of course, Emory Radio's Instagram, and also on K.L.P Plus. If you guys don't know, of course, my brother and one of our friends, Harmony, they did try out for the fashion show. Of course, Young Atlanta fashion show. It's supposed to be the biggest and hottest fashion show in Atlanta. And of course, my brother was there doing his thing, auditioning for that. And of course, Harmony was there too. Shout out to Harmony, my good friend, out there as well. And shout out to Young Atlanta, because it was very interesting. I'm coming in there with my toys, bells and whistles, right? I was coming in there getting ready to record just my brother. But then when I saw the models, right? And I got to say, guys, the models were very beautiful, by the way. It was a lot of people auditioning for this fashion show. Let me tell you, it was a lot of people. Now, I know my brother said that Friday, that there was a lot of people Friday because he saw the Instagram, but then we went on Saturday's audition, and to me that was a ton of people. So they have their work cut out for them, because everybody wants to be a part of this fashion show. I am very excited for this fashion show. I know they probably haven't made their decision yet, but I'm hoping that they choose both my brother and our good friend Harmony, because if they choose them, that means that Horizon Pictures will be there to do a full-blown video about the show. And I'm very excited about this team, because we dabble in fashion, right? Of course, our newest documentary we filmed in New York, we talk a little bit about fashion in New York in the documentary. So I get very excited for this, right? I get very, very stoked and excited about fashion shows. You guys can see it right now on K.L.P Plus. You can see 2 of our fashion show documentaries. Of course, Magnolia Paradise is a documentary, and It Takes Passion is another documentary that is available on K.L.P Plus. I gotta shamelessly plug that in there, T, because a lot of people love the service so far. A lot of people have been watching our stuff on K.L.P Plus, and you guys can see the 2 documentary series on that platform. So you guys do not want to miss it because it is out there. So if Young Atlanta picks us up, goes to Horizon Pictures and say, hey, we need you guys to film it, then this will be our third video documentary of a fashion show ever. So I'm excited to see the end results of it. You know, they haven't emailed us yet, you know, because we just got done with the audition this past weekend. So they got to go through a lot, right? It's a lot of models that's going out there for sure. But shout out on the radio, Young Atlanta. You guys can follow their Instagram. All you got to do, open your Instagram up like I'm doing right now and go in your search bar and type in, of course, I believe it's Young Atlanta. Yes, Young Atlanta 13 is all one word, Young Atlanta 13. Follow their Instagram because get this, over 5,000 followers they have on their platform. So they're booming, right? They're huge. They're booming out there. So I'm very hopeful. I'm watchful. I'm very hopeful and see what happens next. Do you guys want to see the continuation of our film style of the Young Atlanta Fashion Show coming up very soon? DM us, comment below, do whatever you got to do because we want to hear that interaction. So moving on to our next news announcements, of course, we're going to talk about our must-watch list. But before we get to that, guys, tomorrow, and I kind of blew the microphone there because I got really excited there, but Shell Purcell's I'm Not Your Sugar Mama will be premiering tomorrow, June 1st. Man, I can't believe that we're already in June, T. Like, you know, this is interesting because now we're finally in June. But Shell Purcell's I'm Not Your Sugar Mama will be premiering tomorrow, so you guys do not want to miss it. I wouldn't want to miss it because it's going to be one of the hottest, spiciest shows of them all. My good friend Shell Purcell is the host. I am the executive producer. You guys don't want to miss that brand spanking new podcast. Of course, we're premiering up to 4 episodes tomorrow, 4 episodes that you guys can't miss. And of course, on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. roughly is when we're going to be going live on YouTube to answer any questions live. So I'm ecstatic. I'm hopeful. I'm so excited for tomorrow. I'm Not Sugar Mama. Of course, she was brought to you by our topic of today, the must watch list. Now we get into the fun stuff because this movie I saw last night, right? It was late last night, Memorial weekend, of course, at the house. We cooked food, we celebrated, and you know, at the end of the night, we tied it in. We watched a good movie at the Kennedy Lucas home, and of course, at the Kennedy Lucas home, we watched this movie because we do have a Peacock account, and I knew that this would be a good topic for today's show. Of course, now we're talking about the hit movie Ambulance. Of course, you have Ambulance, that is a Peacock. Well, it's on Peacock, but it's been out for theaters, and I'm super excited to talk about this movie because it's very interesting. This is the movie that you've got Jake Gyllenhaal that is a part of it, of course, and you know, Jake Gyllenhaal, he performs really well in this movie. He really does his thing in this movie, of course. It's a great movie that's available right now on Peacock right now. So if you have a Peacock account, you don't want to miss it. Now, Rotten Tomatoes, they give it a 69%, right, T? And that's to be expected. You know, a lot of movies, you know, this is a blockbuster movie because Universal did it and Michael Bay did this movie, but you know, it's just tight right now. You know, you got a lot of movies that are hitting 10s and perfect 10s, but Voodoo is giving it a 4.4 out of 5, and IMDb gave it a 61 out of 10. So that's like a low or a high D, right, T? So it's out there. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it. You know, it's a great movie to watch on, you know, Memorial Day. Of course, needing money to cover his wife's medical bills, a decorated veteran teams up with his adopted brother that steals $32 million from the Los Angeles bank. However, when their getaway goes spectacularly wrong, the despair thieves hijack an ambulance that's carrying a severely wounded cop and a EMT worker caught in the high-speed chase. The two siblings must figure out a way to outrun the law while keeping their hostages alive. Directed by Michael Bay. Of course, Michael Bay, if you guys don't know, Michael Bay is famous for doing a lot of action movies, right? When we made our action movies, our idol was Michael Bay when we made quite a few of our action movies, if you guys remember. back in the day. I don't think this movie is ever going to come to K.L.P Plus, but I did a movie called Conviction, and it was kind of an action-packed Michael Bay type film. So I get into it. Of course, you got Eliza Gonzalez to play the EMT worker Cam. I forgot her last name. Jake Gyllenhaal is playing, his character is Danny Sharp. Of course, you've got Yaha Abdul-Mati II to play Will Sharp. That guy's pretty good at his acting because he's been in a lot of great other things. Of course, you got Kerr O'Donnell. He's also a good actor to play Arison Clark. Of course, you got Devin Long to play William Wallace, one of the criminals, one of the thug members, I guess that's the official name for it. Very, very interesting about this movie because, you know, it's a high-speed kind of chase movie, right? This is the movie, and I like it when movies tell a story within, and this is a 2-hour some odd movie, right? But I like it when stories don't have different days, right? Ambulance is the movie where it's going to be a whole day, right? It's a whole day in a life of Los Angeles compressed into 2 hours. Now I know they spent 6 months to a year to make this movie, right? But I like it how there's a story where there's a story where somebody's having the movie happen all day. And that's just it. You won't have it tomorrow. You won't have next week. It's all day. So it's very interesting, to say the least, with that movie, that they had that happen. Now, of course, available right now on Peacock, like I mentioned before. It got a lot of its credits, right? You know, the reviews, 3.9 out of 5. So again, that's like a high D, a low C. So it's not terrible, right? Could have it been better? Yes. I still don't think I said that right, but if it was better, yeah, it could have been better, right? But it's just one of those things that, you know, it's one of those things, of course. And this is something different we're gonna read reviewer comments, right? So, and we're not gonna name their names out there. Of course, this reviewer gave the movie a 3 out of 5. All right, nobody quite does unbridled action like Michael Bay, and boy, we have missed a master director since his chaotic but immersive watchable 6 Underground. I forgot he did 6 Underground back in 2019. That movie was great. I seen that. That movie's available right now on Netflix. The Bayness is a all-time high in his latest venture, Ambulance, where Jake Gyllenhaal and crew are let loose in the streets of Los Angeles with guns, cars, and helicopters thrown around like kitty litter to devastating yet immersive, enjoyable effect. Now, this is a movie that, and I agree with this reviewer, because this is the movie where there's so much action packed, right? I had no idea towards mid-movie or mid-time where Jake Gyllenhaal and Yaha, the two characters, Danny and William Sharp, they were adopted related. I had no idea until you figure out the last name, and then you really get into it, and Jake Gyllenhaal mentions, oh, he's my brother. You know, now I started to catch on to it, and that's something that's very different, right? I don't think that ever happened in movies before, where you have to show an action movie, 2 robbers, 2 criminals. At the end of the day, you know, William and Danny Sharp, black and white, be adopted. You know, I don't think that ever happens. There's kind of a backstory where at the beginning they showed them as 2 kids. I thought they were just friends, right? Childhood friends. But now they're adopted brothers. Now, it's very interesting for Yaha's character, William Sharp. You know, he did what he had to do, his wife, you know, and it really does suck, right? For the beginning of the story, where William Sharp, Yaha Matu II, his character, William Sharp, is a veteran, right? He's a veteran, but still doesn't have the service he needs as a war hero, as a veteran, right? As a discharged veteran. And that kind of stuff actually does happen in real life. Sad but true, it does happen where you have men and women to serve our country, and sometimes they're having backlash when they come home, right? They're having backlash when they come home. They're not getting the assistance they're promised for fighting for our country when they come home. So that bugs me a whole lot, right? And it rubs me the wrong way with that, because, you know, I, as a veteran, you know, well, not as a veteran myself, but William Sharp as a veteran, you are expected to have compensation. You're expected to have the service right when you get home, because you've been to war, you've been to it. And I meant to say this, we did do a podcast yesterday, but yesterday was Memorial Day. I remember the heroes, the veterans, and I gave them my fullest gratitude, my fullest salute, because that couldn't have been me. right? I don't think I would be strong enough to go out there and fight the war, right? Fight for, and I love my country, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not strong enough, right? So you actually have a character portraying a veteran war hero, American hero that fight for the country and then doesn't get his compensation. Now he's struggling with his wife and kids at home in Los Angeles. You know, this stuff happens for real in real life. So it's unfortunate, but it does happen. It's very interesting because, you know, William Sharp is the veteran, right? You know, he served our country and now he turned criminal. And at the end of the movie, you know, high speed chase, of course, the you know, Danny and William Sharp, they're not killers, right? Danny's crazier than William, but they're not killers, right? They're not going to kill a police cop. You know, a police cop goes into the bank trying to holler at this girl at the bank, and you know, it's very interesting because, you know, he ended up getting shot. Let me tell you one scene. I don't know, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here. You just got to see the movie, guys. But there's this one scene in the movie where the EMT Cam, her character Eliza Gonzalez, is seen where they're performing surgery at a high-speed chase, and they have two surgeons on FaceTime directing the EMT to do a operation while in a chase. Is that not the most creative writing ever? I thought it was very creative how Michael Bay wrote that scene in. It was a little bit gruesome, right? Because I don't think I ever saw it to where somebody's performing operation and the person that's getting operated on wakes up. That scares me. And I hope, and God forbid, I hope I never go into a surgery, right? But I would never want to have a surgery where somebody's inside my body and I will actually wake up and see that happening. I will freak. I think I would faint if I see somebody, because her EMT, her character, she had to put her hand in there to grab the spleen, to grab the bullet in the movie. And the police officer gets up. He's like, well, I'm waking up. And everybody's like, oh snap, he's getting up, and we're like in his stomach right now. And he looks down, he's like, oh crap, what's going on? And they pulled out and William Sharp knocks him out to knock him back unconscious so they can perform continuing the operation, but knocks him out. She pulls out the spleen to get the bullet, and the spleen just burst out like a water balloon, right? And I know this is a gruesome, guys, but this is a movie that it's interesting. That part kind of freaked me out because I am squeamish. I can't handle stuff like that. I would never be a surgeon or a doctor because that stuff freaks me out. I applaud our Emory students that are learning pro-med and medicine as their career at Emory University. That stuff freaks me out. I will stick to the business side of things because that stuff just creeps me out. It really does. So again, Ambulance is a great movie, guys. Again, it's not your Michael Bay. He did what he did, right? You know, he did the best for what he did for the year of 2022 to bring a great movie. I'm sure they made millions off of this movie. Now, I you know, it wasn't a 5 out of 5 star, one of Michael Bay's best films. No, by a long shot, yes. But this is a movie. If you got Peacock, if you're looking for a good movie to watch, give this one a try. Like, I think you might enjoy this one. So my shots goes out to Michael Bay and Ambulance. Of course, moving on to our next news announcements. Of course, if you guys missed it, don't miss it right now. Our latest album, of course, me and my good friend DJ Lupeezy, we went out there and made an album called Prime Time that's available right now on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Amazon Music, iTunes, Pandora, Tidal, so much more. iHeartRadio, I might have already said that to you, but go check that out, guys, because that is the album that you guys don't want to miss. Now, moving on, and we've got to talk about this. You knew I was going to talk about this, guys, because we recently, we talked about movies. Now we're talking about gaming news. So if you're not particularly a gamer, stay tuned because we do have our elephant of the room coming up next. But this next thing I've got to talk about here on the radio show, because this trailer, this snippet, this 4-minute video has came out, and every gamer has been talking about it on YouTube today, and now we're finally talking about it on our radio platforms. Now, raise your hand. You probably get, I mean, you're not, no one's here, but raise your hand if you guys saw that new Sonic Frontiers video. I know I'm excited because we officially got some gameplay. Let me tell you, a lot of gamers have their doubts, right, T? I have my small doubts. Let me tell you why. I'm glad that we got gameplay. Let me tell you, the game looks beautiful, right? You know, the graphics look really well. They look very well received. Now, I think they have a little bit more work to do on the game. a lot of gamers and a lot of YouTubers, Dreamy, I probably butchered his YouTube name, and Sam Procrastinators, those are the two YouTubers that I'm sourcing this and I follow when it comes to Sonic type news. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I recently saw Sonic 2. That movie was fantastic. I'm always going to be a Sonic fan because I grew up playing Sonic the Hedgehog, right? So when every new Sonic game that comes out, I do want to give it a spin, right? Because I enjoy a good Sonic game, right? That's me being a Sonic fanboy, but I have my doubts with this game just a little bit because a lot of YouTubers said this and I've seen it and I kind of agree with them where they have excuse me, where they have Sonic Forces formulas into this game. Now, it's not so huge, right? But there's some of the things like the grinding on the rail. That's kind of a Sonic Forces formula. You've got the kick move that is from Sonic Lost Wars formula. The model for Sonic is Sonic Forces formula. So I understand about the formula, and if it's not technically broken, don't try to fix it, right? But I'm very interested to see this open world concept. I know Sam Procrastinator said that he thinks that this is a open zone type game, right? It's not going to be an open world game. This is an open zone game. I'm very interested to see the levels of the game because I'm sure that's not it. I'm sure that big map is not the game. I'm sure there's the big map and then it leads to smaller zones and smaller stages. I think there's a lot of things you got to collect in the game to upgrade the Sonic character. Would I want more characters to be playable in this game? Yes. I don't think we're going to get it because they've been on this formula where you can only play as Sonic for a very, very long time, minus the racing games and minus the other mobile type games. Games like Sonic Frontiers, I think you're only going to be able to control Sonic in this game. And I'm cool with that, right? The gameplay looks fantastic. New combo moves looks fantastic. You have that big giant boss battle. I don't think that's the final battle. I don't think that's a big boss battle in particular. I think it's a small boss battle when we saw it in the clip today. They changed the logo, right? And a lot of YouTubers, a lot of gamers said finally they changed the logo because they weren't a fan of it. I'm a fan of this new logo, right? I'm a fan of it because it looks very futuristic, right? It looks different. I really do hope that they bring this game out and this game be completely different than all the other Sonic games we played. Sega and Sonic team has to make this right, because let me tell you why they need to make this right, guys. They need to make this right because this is the game where you're in your prime time, right? Because no pun intended, with our album and Sonic Prime that's coming out, we're getting ready to see Sonic Prime, a Netflix series, right? Sonic 2, the movie, did really, really well at the box office. So this is the prime time where they cannot mess this game up. They cannot, because they got shows that's coming out from Sonic. You have Sonic 2 that did really well. They probably already started Sonic 3 by now. You're in your prime time, Sega. And I've been talking about the same spiel at the last podcast, but this is the year where Sonic makes his comeback. Hands down. It has to be the year because they've had a fantastic year so far. A lot of people are getting ready for Sonic Origins, right? June 23rd, Sonic Origin comes out. I can tell y'all right now, I'm not getting the game because it's kind of expensive, and it's not really expensive. I could pick it up if I wanted to, but $40 for the same games that I've been playing for years, I'm not gonna buy into that hype, right? A lot of people have bought into it. A lot of people already pre-ordered. I'm not gonna be buying a $40 game that I played these games so many times before, and it's the same thing, but maybe just a few minor tweaks, right? I will save my $40 and raise up another 40 for 80 to get Sonic Frontiers this holiday season. That's how I would play it, right? I really do hope Sonic Frontiers gives us difference in Sonic, right? Because I want to see difference. I want to see a different Sonic game that I haven't played before, right? I want to make it worth my 60, 70, and maybe even 80 if there's a collector's edition. Make my money worthwhile. That's how I am with game buying. Mario Strikers Battle League comes out next week. I might invest in that because they're probably going to bring some elements that I'm investing the game into, right? But we saw the trailer. A lot of people were ecstatic. A lot of people got their opinions. I do want to say before we move on to our elephant of the room, it is still kind of early, guys. So I say to my gamers, don't judge Sonic Frontiers quite just yet because we're still early, right? We haven't seen everything. June 9th is when we're really going to see more when it comes to Sonic Frontiers and all of the other games at Summer Game Fest, which we're going to be covering that on K.L.P Aftermath and K.L.P in the morning. So stay tuned next weekend for that. That's going to be a fun podcast. But don't count Sonic Frontiers out yet. Not just yet. Again, we still have a lot to see, and I hope they bring their A game when it comes to it. I really do hope so. Now, moving on to our elephant of the room before we close out of the podcast here today. Of course, my sources are coming from the beautiful The Breakfast Club. Of course, shout out to Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee up there in New York. This was their donkey of the day today, and now this is our elephant in the room. And this goes both ways when it comes to our elephant of the room segment today. Of course, sources have coming that the sister was their donkey of the day, but a sister made a joke about objecting her other sister at her wedding. Let me break it down to you guys. Of course, you have one lady and her sister. Her sister was getting married at a wedding. Obviously, it's the wedding, getting married, and then the priest or preacher, I don't really know what their name is, with the guy that's on the altar with the bride and groom. I think it's the priest. I don't know. I'm not married. I don't know. He says, with the wedding spiel, he says that, does anybody object to these two being married today? Of course, the sister comes out and says, I object. And this is what she says: I object because the couple is too cute for each other. As a joke. I probably wouldn't have not said that, right? Because if I'm at a wedding, right, and I'm getting ready to go to a wedding in August, I'll be dang if I'm going to sit there and say, and shout out to Karen and Salt Lake, they're getting married, by the way. Congratulations to them, my good friends over there from the squad. I'd be darned if I say, nope, I object. They're too cute for each other, as a joke, right? I get the sister trying to make a joke, but it was that awkward silence where this was, and I'm guilty of it too, guys. I'm guilty of trying to tell a joke and the joke doesn't go over well. I've said jokes to my friend squad that I thought was extremely funny, but is really, really quiet. No one's laughing. Everyone's looking at me awkwardly, and I'm just like trying to think of a new punchline, waiting for somebody to chuckle, to laugh, and to say, oh, it was a joke. This was the joke where it was not needed at a wedding, and it was quiet. Everyone was looking like, what in the world? That was the moment where you knew you messed up. You knew you messed up on a joke. So the sister sits down, and of course, after the wedding, of course, at the reception, the sister goes to the other sister and says, hey, congratulations on your wedding. The joke I did with the objection, it was just a joke. I was hoping to get some laughter. Here's why she was wrong, right? And this is why she's the elephant of the room. And I say this very, very calmly, right? Because her intentions were to tell a joke and to lighten the room a little bit. Because when you're at a wedding and you're the bride and you're the groom, you're already stressed, right? A lot of stress that goes into planning a wedding. She was trying to tell the joke so that way it seemed like a comedic relief and people could just kind of breathe a little bit. I wouldn't have not said that joke because the groom and the bride, they're already stressed to the max, right? And it's been, and this is Charlemagne the God, he said this, and I believe him because I don't know, I haven't been married, so I don't know. When somebody objects a wedding, then the priest and all the other people that's there have to investigate the objection. So they have to stop the wedding, investigate, and move on, right? And that takes a lot of money, a lot of time. So that's why that joke wasn't funny, because you're wasting time. They're already on the edge trying to get married. It's their day. And the second reason why she was wrong with telling that joke, T, is simply because you try to tell a joke, but it's not your day. There's been moments where I'm out of function. I make sure it's not about me at the function if it's not my function. If I'm having a function or I'm at a function that somebody else planned and I just got invited to attend the function, I don't make it about myself. That's a big no-no, right? You never want to seem like a prude and make it about yourself as somebody else's function, aka this wedding. It wasn't your wedding. You're not getting married. I don't know if this sister is married. You tried to make this joke in your defense, trying to make a joke, but it seems like you tried to make it about yourself when it's not even your wedding. That's why she's the elephant in the room. That's why she was wrong in telling that joke. And I say a lot of people, when you're at a function, you want to cut a joke where it's appropriate. And I learned this in business school too. There's a time and a place for everything, and that wasn't the time and place for that. There's a time and a place for everything. That joke wasn't the time and place for that to happen. So that's why I have to give her my elephant of the room. So that's going to wrap it up here on today's show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's show. Please remember to stay tuned for Thursday when we come back in the studio with K.L.P Aftermath. As always, I'd like to say thank you if you're listening to the podcast, the video version on YouTube, Daily Motion, and of course all of our audio platforms, the Spotify video and K.L.P Plus. Thank you so much. If you're listening to the audio version, thank you. Please be sure to share it with your friends so that way you guys don't miss that we were live today on live radio to perform a great show for you guys. As always, I like to say stay safe, wear a mask every time. COVID is still here. Drink water. It is summertime. It is hot, guys. It was 90 degrees in the car today getting to the studio. It was hot today. So please stay hydrated, stay safe. Look forward for Shell Purcell's I'm Not Your Sugar Mama tomorrow, June 1st. That is Wednesday. Tomorrow is when that podcast will premiere, and I'm so excited to premiere it for her as well. Until then, I've been your host, K.L.P Lucas. Stay safe, stay swanky.